What is going on with Hybe's girl group's recent music? Katseye just released Pinky Up, Lesserafim just dropped Celebration, and at the time I'm writing this script, Illit is currently teasing a new title track called It's Me. And if there's one thing I can say about all of these songs is that they are very disjointed. Now, I know that most of these songs, if not all of them, lean more into an EDM sound, and that's not what I'm critiquing here. There's nothing wrong with doing EDM or trying out a new genre. Exploring new genres or experimenting stylistically is a natural and often necessary part of artistic growth. The concern, however, is that these releases collectively highlight a lack of clear musical identity across Hybe's girl groups. This is honestly really surprising in Illit's case. They've previously established a distinct and recognizable sound, so the abrupt shift is just shocking, and not in a good way. While evolving creatively isn't inherently problematic, the direction they chose, both in terms of lyrics and overall style, feels not only inconsistent with their past work, but also insufficiently grounded in a cohesive artistic vision. It doesn't come across as a carefully considered evolution, but rather a sudden and disconnected change. Now, I have seen a lot of people point out the similarities between these new Hybe girl group releases and Blackpink's song Jump, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't notice a lot of similarities too, and I wouldn't be surprised if Hybe is just trying to reheat Blackpink's nachos. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. In my opinion, the decision for Hybe's girl groups to release these disjointed, all-over-the-place songs is a direct result of the success of Gnarly. Just hear me out. In lesserafim's case, it has long felt as though they lack a clearly defined musical or artistic identity. Because of that, I'm not particularly surprised to see them release a track like this. The group has developed a reputation for frequently shifting concepts and sounds. The contrast between title tracks like Hot and Spaghetti highlights what appears to be Source Music's lack of commitment to establishing a consistent musical direction for them. Now, with Celebration, the pattern continues. The track comes across as a fairly standard EDM release, without anything especially distinctive or innovative. One of the main criticisms, beyond the choreography, is its heavy reliance on repetition, particularly the constant use of the word celebrate. While repetition is common and often effective within EDM, it doesn't seem to translate well in this case, especially within the expectations many K-pop listeners have. The issue is further compounded by the song's short runtime, resulting in what feels like a brief, repetitive loop rather than a fully developed track. Overall, it doesn't land particularly well from my perspective, though it aligns with what I've come to expect from lesserafim's current direction. What was the most surprising was Illit. Now, I know Illit's title track isn't fully out yet, but I'm gonna give some of my thoughts anyways. To be honest with you, I think this song is pure rage bait. Even looking at their TikToks promoting this song, it just seems like they're rage baiting us, like it's so unserious. But I took the time to listen to the highlight medley of their upcoming EP, which has It's Me as the title track, and none of the B-sides sound remotely similar to the title track. The B-sides are still grounded in Illit's core musical identity, and they actually sound pretty decent. So it really does make me think, why choose this direction for the title track? It seems likely they anticipated that releasing a song like this would attract attention beyond their core fan base. And if that was the goal, it appears to be working. However, if expanding their reach was the intention, it raises the question of why it wasn't executed in a way that still prioritized strong musical quality and Illit's artistic integrity for a title track. In my view, much of this trend can be traced back to Gnarly. Gnarly demonstrated that even with random, cringeworthy, and disjointed lyrics, a track can still perform well if it has a catchy production. To be fair, I did find Gnarly enjoyable at the time. The beat was engaging, and the members' vocal delivery made it appealing despite the lyrics lacking coherence. While I haven't revisited it recently, I can acknowledge its appeal when it was released. The bigger issue is that its success may have set a precedent, leading Hybe to interpret Gnarly's chart stability as what audiences want. This has resulted in more of Hybe girl groups' most recent songs being built around loud production, minimal structure, and lyrics that can come across as forced, random, and honestly just all over the place. Oh, and they're all barely 2 minutes too. It's disappointing to see. Ultimately, the key question is how long this direction will continue to shape Hybe GG's releases moving forward. And to be clear, I am not opposed to artists like Illit exploring new genres or experimenting with different concepts. It is entirely possible to grow as an artist while maintaining a strong sense of identity and creative integrity. However, rather than feeling like a natural extension of the group's artistry, it gives the impression of being designed primarily to spark conversation, though not necessarily in a constructive or positive way. Katseye recently released Pinky Up, and many of my previous critiques still apply. While I've been less engaged with the group lately, particularly due to the situation involving Manon, my concerns with this release are not tied to that context. even if Manon had been featured on the track, it would not change my overall reception of the song. Moreover, this song release reinforces a concern that many others have raised: the apparent lack of a clear artistic direction for Katseye. During their tour, the release of Internet Girl was already a questionable decision. Following that with Pinky Up only amplifies the sense that Hybe's geffen does not clearly know what to do with Katseye, music-wise. And if their plan is to make this brain rot, cringy lyrics, unconventional songs their musical identity, well, I guess they're succeeding, because this type of music is what Katseye is becoming increasingly known for. This is particularly disappointing given the volume of feedback from listeners, many of whom have been asking Hybe's geffen to focus on stronger, more cohesive material that highlights the members' vocal abilities. Instead, Pinky Up appears to follow a formula similar to Gnarly, with its heavy reliance on repetitive lyrics, loud production, and unconventional structure. While that approach may have proven effective once, repeating it risks diminishing its impact. It gives the impression that the success of that earlier track is now shaping subsequent creative decisions, rather than allowing for a more thoughtful evolution of the group's sound. Looking ahead to the Wild era, there are indications that a similar rollout strategy may be used, mirroring what was done with the Beautiful Chaos EP. In that case, an experimental pre-release track was followed by a more conventional and accessible single. While that contrast can be effective in moderation, relying on it repeatedly may lead to projects that feel disjointed rather than intentionally diverse. Beautiful Chaos itself already felt somewhat lacking in cohesion, and continuing in that direction is just not the way to go, in my opinion. Overall, the concern is not necessarily about short-term performance. Katseye has reached a level of visibility where their core younger audience is likely to remain engaged, regardless of stylistic shifts. However, in terms of long-term stability and the potential to grow their audience, a more defined and consistent creative direction may be necessary. Without that, it becomes difficult to see how they will continue to build momentum at a higher level. Overall, it's disappointing to see the direction Hybe is going musically with their girl groups. Not too long ago, Hybe music was synonymous with good music and good concepts. Now, they're just all over the place. But what do you think? Let me know your comments below so we can get a discussion going, and I'll see you in the next one.